Several Indian celebs made their Cannes debut this year, 2023, 76 Cannes Film Festivals, from former Manushi Chillar to Anushka Sharma and Sara Ali Khan. So, for the discussion, we have a very special guest, Aniruddha. Before starting, we are going to discuss about the topic of a tribute to filmmaker Mrinal Sen on his birth centenary. So, filmmaker Mrinal Sen was the Indian celeb on the Cannes Film Festivals in the jury in 1982. And we are going to discuss about his journey to become one of the most admired filmmaker in India and abroad. And we have a very special guest, Aniruddha Dey, who is Superintending Deputy Chief Scientist in ONGC and IIT and Delhi and IIT Kharagpur alumnus. He is an active painter with numerous awards at international and national. He is also an amateur author and scriptwriter. So, Aniruddha, welcome to our channel Think Tank India.
Thank you, Arpita, for the beautiful introduction and for having me here today. Hello, friends. So, today we're going to talk about the great filmmaker, the respected Mrinal Sen. Don't worry, this is not going to be a history lecture. We all know the basics. Almost every educated Indian knows about the famous trio of Bengali cinema, Mrinal, Satyajit and Hrithik. That is Mrinal Sen, Satyajit Ray and Hrithik Ghatak. So Mrinal Sen was born in Faridpur, the then Bengal presidency, on May 14, 1923. He began his filmmaking journey in the 1950s, Calcutta. Mind it was not Kolkata back then, it was Calcutta. And went on to create a remarkable body of work that left an indelible mark on Indian cinema.
His maximum film was based on political plots and political views. That time, old Calcutta, not Kolkata.
Yeah, actually, in fact, today I will be discussing about his political views as. Yeah, your network is not good actually. We are going to discuss about the political views actually, because that is the most important part of his films. And most of his films are actually characterized by realism, an intense portrayal of the societal issues, and it garnered critical acclaim both domestically and internationally. His body of work consists of nearly 30 feature films. He sure believed in quality and not quantity. So, also, I'll give you a very important information here, a very interesting one actually. While Mrinal Sen is known for his stint as a parallel filmmaker, it would be interesting to know that his first film, Raat Bhor, starred one of the most successful Bengali commercial actor of all time. I'm sure you can guess the name. Yeah, it's none other than Uttam Kumar. Very few people are actually aware of this movie, that Mrinal Sen and Uttam Kumar working together. It had Chobi বিশ্বাস and Sabitri Chatterjee alongside Uttam Kumar. However, the major turning point was his second movie, Neel Akasher Niche. It was produced by the legendary singer and music director Hemant Mukherjee, popularly known as Hemant Kumar. The film was released in 1959. Then came the shock. It became the first banned movie in independent India. The ban was lifted after 2 months, but why the ban?
Under the Blue Sky, first banned movie.
Yeah,
in India.
Right, the first banned movie, Neel Akasher Niche. So why the ban? That's how we'll get into the topic of the political beliefs of Mrinal Sen. Let us first look into the background of the film, and then the political scenario based on which the tussle arose. The film was based on a short story written by Mahadevi Verma, known as Chini Feriwala. It was set against the backdrop of the final days of British rule in Calcutta. This film delves into the lives of diverse characters and explores their intertwined destinies. It revolves around Wang Lu, an honest Chinese hawker who sells silk on the streets of Calcutta. Unlike his fellow countrymen who were involved in opium trade at that time, Wang Lu chooses to maintain his integrity. Now, amidst the political fervor of the time, remember it is pre-independent India, he develops a deep platonic bond with Bashanti, the wife of a lawyer who is actively engaged in a nationalist political group of that time. However, now their lives take a dramatic turn when Bashanti is arrested and imprisoned. This led Wang Lu to become involved in with her political comrades. He is drawn into their cause, advocating for justice and freedom. Eventually, Wang Lu takes a crucial decision of returning to China to join the resistance movement against the Japanese invasion of 1931. Now, the film, excuse me, the film actually serves as a powerful depiction of the socio-political context of the era. It had overt political overtones. It was revolutionary and it led to the unprecedented ban imposed by the government of India. It actually reflected how potent the film was, because if you were banning a film, you were actually afraid of it. Now, this was the time when the Indian National Congress, or Congress for short, was ruling at the center and also in West Bengal. But there was a rising revolution from the leftists. The CPIM was getting more and more powerful. The Naxalite movement has started. It has started to become more and more powerful, and the forces of labor and farmers' union were getting more and more mobilized each and every day. So this film actually encapsulated the spirit of resistance against oppression and highlights the sacrifices that were made by individuals for their convictions. And though the character, this Wang Lu, through his character, the film actually explores the themes of integrity, loyalty, pursuit of justice, justice in the face of adversity. And it encourages revolution against the capitalist forces, something that was not taken in the right spirit by the then government, and hence the ban. In fact, somewhere Sen's movies always underline the transformation of power in the state of West Bengal. Like Baishe Shravan in 1960, then Punosho came in 1961, Obosheshe came in 63, Protinidhi in 64, and then 65 we have Akash Kushum. Akash Kushum also starred Soumitra Chatterjee, another great hero of the Bengali commercial films. They were all based on the stories of common men finding their way through bureaucratic and societal struggles. In fact, he also directed an Uriya film in 1966 named as Matir Manush. Not very popular, I'm sure most of you must not have heard of it, but it's a very good film. Give it a try. Also, let me tell you a small story here. In the early days of his career, Mrinal Sen met the great filmmaker Satyajit Ray, who had already made a success by that time.
Aniruddha, I'm interrupting you. That I just I just read the name sometimes back. Mrinal Sen's elder brother was friend of the famous poet in Bangladesh, Jasimuddin. Do you know that? Jasimuddin, and am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible. Please carry on. Yeah, actually, Jasimuddin and actually had a lot of letter communications. I mean, some written communications occurred between them, especially during the Mukti Yuddha time. I mean, the 71s, 71, 72.
His mother was freedom fighter, and
Yeah.
जसीमुद्दीन कबर पोएम जो फेमस उसका जो जसीमुद्दीन का जो पोएम था ना कबर, वो उसके फादर के पास वो लेके आया था जसीमुद्दीन करेक्शन करवाने. तो एंड हिज फादर सेड कि देयर आर सो मेनी स्पेलिंग मिस्टेक्स. तो जसीमुद्दीन उसके बाद उसको करेक्शन वर्क्शन करके उसको पब्लिश किया. दिस इज द स्टोरी इन बांग्लादेश.
Yeah, that's an interesting story. They also had some letter correspondences actually, which came to the forefront after the Mukti Yuddha, the Bangladeshi War of Liberation. So he was actually, these principles are actually same. The Bangladeshi War of freedom or liberation, whatever you are saying, whatever you can say. They were based on the same underlying principles that the Naxalites or say the leftist movement started in India.
Actually,
And
this
these
Nakshal
actually
time,
have a
many. Am I audible?
yeah. Please carry on.
नक्सल टाइम्स कोलकाता से बहुत लोग जो बाहर चले गए थे. So some of my known person in our family, they also come from Kolkata to some several parts. They सब scattered हो गए थे कोलकाता से that time, नक्सल time.
Yeah, actually that happened. Even a lot of poverty was there, a lot of unemployment.
Hmm. Hmm.
Even he was associated with the famous music director Sholil Chaudhary. He was also a leftist kind of, and
And
they
his
worked
fast
together.
and Mithun Chakraborty's fast movie Mriga also produced by Mrinal
And
Sen.
directed by.
And कहा जाता है कि अमिताभ बच्चन की जो शाहिनशाह अमिताभ बच्चन को फर्स्ट पे किया गया था जो जिस मूवी पे वो भी मृणाल सेन का ही था.
Yeah, actually, he did the voiceover for his film. Actually, that film also has a history that I was just coming to. Like it was Satyajit Ray who actually encouraged Mrinal Sen to pursue that vision. The film that actually released as Bhuvan Shom in 1969. And that was the film where we actually saw two debuts, two very important debuts. One was Suhasini Mule, and another was a voiceover by the famous Amitabh Bachchan. Uh, your network is actually getting disrupted.
So और भी सारे मूवी जो है पॉलिटिकल व्यूज पर उसको थोड़ा हम लोग डिस्कस करें.
The,
क्या कहना चाहते हैं?
okay. See, Bhuvan
उसको
Shom
कहा जाता
was
है कि रेपुटेड था वो कि मार्क्सिस्ट फिल्म मेकर, लेफ्टिस्ट मार्क्सिस्ट फिल्म मेकर. उसको लेके आपका क्या है?
see, we cannot deny the fact that he was a leftist person. But actually, there are various layers to leftism if you talk of it, like Marxism, Leninism, there are various kinds of theories. Even we know about our constitution is to an extent influenced by the socialist and leftist ideas. But Meenal Sen's ideas were mainly about the common man who fought against bureaucracy and authority. Like, uh, like I was just talking about Bhuvan Shom. Bhuvan Shom had Suhasini Mule and Utpal Dotto as the protagonists, and it was written by Bolai Chand Mukhopadhyay, a very famous Bengali writer known by his pen name Monful. It deals with the themes of solitude, camaraderie, monotony, compassion, the urban-rural divide in contemporary India. So somewhere the common man was the center of his stories always. Actually, regarding the political view of Meenal Sen, we come to the year 1971. 1971 is very special. It saw the release of two brilliant films, Interview in Bengali and Ek Adhuri Kahani in Hindi. And most importantly, it saw the development of the iconic film Calcutta 71 that was released in 1972. It was followed by Interview and Podati. These three movies, Calcutta 71, Interview, and Podati, these three are actually known as the Calcutta trilogy by the maestro. Interview actually used a path-breaking technique of narration and cinematography. It was also a debut of the famous film actor Ranjit Mallik, and it dealt with the issues of middle-class confinement, unemployment, the anti-establishment rebellion that was growing steadily during that period. Calcutta 71 also starred Ranjit Mallik. It was a combination of four stories reflecting the rampant corruption, both political and social. The Naxalite activities, the poverty-stricken people, they formed the center of the story. Calcutta 71 is interestingly one of the most controversial films by Meenal Sen. It was known for its depiction of political and social unrest in Kolkata during the 1970s. During its release, the film actually faced severe censorship challenges, and was banned for a brief period due to its politically charged content. However, its eventual release garnered critical acclaim and cemented Sen's reputation as a bold filmmaker unafraid to tackle pressing issues of the time. Podatik was released in 1973. It portrayed the direct activism in the political and societal levels through actors like Jyothiman Chatterjee and Simi Garewal. Actually, you can spend hours analyzing each and every film that Sen directed. You can read a book on every film. Films like Kharij, Chorus, Mrigoya, that Arpita also mentioned, which was the debut of Mithun Chakraborty. Okauri Kotha, Porshuram, Ekdin Protidin, Ekdin Achanak, Khandahar, which starred Nasiruddin Shah. The list just keeps going on and on. A series of masterpieces. It will be an audacity to even try and judge the works of this revered filmmaker, whose creations are respected all over the world. His list of international awards is overwhelming, but his recognition in India, especially by the government of India, has never been up to the mark, which can be attributed majorly to his political adherences. Throughout his career, he used the medium of film to voice his political beliefs and critique prevailing power structures. Mind it, he was against the power structures, not against any party or, as such, any kind of specific belief. His political thoughts can be broadly classified into five key aspects. The first is obviously Marxism and the socialist ideals. He was strongly influenced by Marxist and socialist ideologies. His films often depicted the struggles faced by the working class, highlighting the disparities, the injustices that was prevalent in the society at that time. He believed in the power of the collective action and advocated for a more equitable social and economic system. The second point that we can come to regarding his political thoughts is that he was a critic of capitalism and class oppression. Sen's films were critical of capitalist structures and the exploitation of the working class. He explored the theme of class oppression, the stark divide between the privileged and the marginalized sections of the society. His films shed light on the struggles faced by those at the bottom of the social ladder. This was actually very similar to the kind of films that Ritwik Ghatak, another maestro you must be aware of, his films, his thoughts were very similar to this kind. Another thing that he was very actively engaged in was political activism and social movements. Mrinal Sen actively engaged with political and social movements during his lifetime. He supported the causes like workers' right, the Next Right movement, the various other grassroots movements like fighting for social justice. His films often reflected these political contexts and drew inspiration from real life events. A very good example of that is actually Interview. You must watch it if you haven't yet. He always questioned the power and authority. That's the fourth point. Sen was known for his bold and fearless approach. He questioned all kind of authority and power structures. His films challenged established norms and institutions. He often exposed the corruption and hypocrisy that was very, very prevalent in society at that time, even today actually. He aimed to create a sense of awakening and awareness among the audience. The last, but obviously not the least, is that he was a critic of colonialism and imperialism. Sen's political thoughts extended beyond the boundaries of India. This is important. He was critical of colonialism and imperialism. He examined their long-lasting impact on post-colonial societies. His films often touched upon themes of decolonization and the struggles faced by nations in asserting their independence. So his political thoughts were actually deeply ingrained in his cinematic creations. Through his films, he tried to create social consciousness, he tried to spark discussions, he tried to inspire individuals to question the existing power dynamics. So, as you can see, that the leftist ideas that we're talking about are not exactly just leftist. It's about the common man's struggle against authority, a structure, a particular power structure. And that involved everybody, not just India. It, it can be somebody in US, it can be somebody in Bangladesh, it can be somebody in Russia, it can be somebody in any country you can think of. It's beyond the boundaries of any country. And obviously, his cinematic experiences are exemplary, and his contribution to the world of cinema remains significant, very significant. And he used his art as a tool for political expression and social change. That's what makes him so special. But you should also, in the end, I just like to add something that he also had some really commercially successful movies in his list. So basically, that underlines the political aspects of his movies and what Mrinal Sen was, what he tried to show the audience through his movies, and where we are now right now. In fact, many of you can actually judge today's society and compare it with his films. So I think that's it for today. Or with the yeah, we're here. So okay, so I think you're not audible, Arpita.
Thank you so much for coming and
Thank you for having me
giving
here.
your
It was great.
time, our channel Think Tank India, and we'll again invite you. So
It will be
thank
an
you so
honor.
much. And what do you want to say about our Think Tank India?
Well, it's a very good initiative, of course, and more and more people should join this channel, and we should discuss topics like topics which are relevant to all of us, basically topics connected to social and political changes. We can contribute in that way to Mrinal Sen's life, his work, and send him a tribute by working on things like political structures, societal changes, and individualistic freedom.
Thank you so much once again. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpita. I'll take your leave. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Good night.
And
And
please stay to our channel, like, share, and subscribe our channel. And please share our videos and like, share, and subscribe.
yeah, ditto from my side. So, okay. So, good night. And I'll take your leave. Take care. Stay healthy. Shabba khair.